What is up, guys? We are at Hunter x Hunter chapter 398. We're literally almost at 400 chapters of Hunter x Hunter. That's crazy, man. Can you imagine if I started reviewing it like from the beginning, like way back in 1998 where, YouTube didn't even exist and I was doing like QuickTime reviews and it would go till now? That'd be crazy. If you guys know what QuickTime is, you're really old. But this chapter of Hunter x Hunter returns us to the main timeline. Now, we were curious on whether or not we were going to continue with the backstory of the Phantom Troop because we still didn't see the formation of the entire troop. We didn't see Shizuku. We didn't see when Hisoka joined or anything like that. And I wouldn't have put it out of Togashi's wheelhouse to take us on that entire ride and show us that entire journey until the full formation, like right up until before York New City. I wouldn't have even been surprised. But we are now back into the actual timeline with returning with Nobunaga, Finks, and Phaeton trying to figure out how this trap room works. And I really like the beginning of this chapter because it reminds us how complex NEN is as a power system. Not that we really forgot, but they're going through all of these different scenarios. And remember, in order to even learn NEN to begin with, like, you have to be a reasonably intelligent person. You know, there's no just like regular thug that knows NEN or can get away with NEN, except for the people in the High Elite Mafia now because of how Morena's ability works. And because of that, they are in over their heads. They don't really know what's going on. They don't know what ability works with what and how to do it and how to navigate in a NEN battle. And that's why they're getting continuously picked off, because as much as they might be able to kill and murder regular people that actually know NEN, that are thinking really hard about this, well, they can kind of counteract that. All they got to do is form some experimentation, especially with the Phantom Troop that really just don't give a fuck. Like, I love how brazen they are when it comes to this. Like, they have such confidence in their abilities and in their teamwork that they really don't care. Like, they're in this trap, but they're not, like, they do take it seriously. I don't want to say that they're not taking it seriously, but I like how within figuring it out, you know, they're still bantering with each other. They're using it more of like solving a puzzle or solving a riddle than they are a life or death situation. Like, they're so used to life or death situations, they're so calm about it that even though if they make a wrong move within some NEN ability that could spell the end for them, they're doing it more so like they're solving a crossword puzzle. They're like, okay, what's 10 across? I don't know, conjuration ability? Well, it's probably more emitter because this would be really hard to do. If the old guy in the room is actually made of NEN, you know, then he disappears when the trap activates, or maybe he's actually the person. And they're just kind of like figuring this out back and forth. And I really like the back and forth dialogue with it. And it just reminds you how complex NEN is and how you can get a lucky break with NEN. You know, Hunter x Hunter is not a series about who is the strongest. It's about whose ability works with what. How can you counteract that? How much do you know about your opponent's ability? How much can you use what you know about your opponent's ability to your advantage? And how confident are you in yourself that you can actually bluff your way through it, because that is possible. So, like, NEN fights and Hunter x Hunter battles and stuff, it's fucking mind games the entire way. And so I really like that, how that works. So they have this guy here. Let me get into what actually happened in this chapter. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. All right. So they have this guy. You have Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga that have this guy that they're basically like making go through this wall, go through that wall. How does it work? Okay. So if you leave the room and then come back into the room, that's when it activates. So they make the guy leave the room, and then he tries to bail. He's just like, oh, fuck this. He starts running. And then Phaeton just kind of gets in front of him, and he's like, nah, son, you're doing this. He's like, all right. So he goes back into the room, disappears, and they're like, okay. So that's how the trap activates. But is it a one-time use, or is it going to keep working? So they grab another guy, and they're like, you go through the door. And like, what are you going to do? It's the Phantom Troop. You listen to him. Goes through the door, disappears. So they're like, okay, trap's active. Let's jump right into this shit. Like, Phaeton's like, all right, let's go. I think only Finks is the one that's like, maybe we shouldn't jump right into the trap. Like, I think we should do this, but let's go at it a little bit of a different way. But the other two are like, I mean, let's just go. Let's just go right in. Whatever. Even if they're waiting right there in the kill spawn room to kill us, like, we're faster, stronger, more efficient. Like, they're not going to be able to kill us. So I love that. I love the Phantom Troop, bro. I fucking love these guys. But then, of course, with traditional Hunter x Hunter fashion, there is a little bit of a twist, because Hinrai shows back up along with, god damn it, every single time I do these videos, I can't remember this guy's name, the guy with the glasses that works for the Cha'ar. He did the weird smile ability that we still haven't really seen what happens with that. But they show up, and he says, look, right before you go into the room, I want to show you what my ability is because it can be really useful here. And what he can do is he can turn objects, he can turn objects into animals, or to make them be deceived to look like animals but still perform their function. He did it with the cat before with the video camera, and of course the classic pigeon handcuff technique, everyone's most favorite manga ability of all time. Kamehameha. Nah, dude, pigeon handcuff is where it's at. So what he does is take this transmitter, because they don't know where this secret room is, because obviously it teleports you somewhere. Somewhere has to be on the ship. I mean, I guess you could make a room out of NEN, because that's kind of what Nove did back in the day. But essentially, they're just trying to figure out where this hidden room is. So he turns a transmitter into an oyster, and he says that, if you swallow this, it'll remain in this form for about 2 hours before the NEN, disappears. The power on it disappears. And I love the humanizing reaction to that, where Nobunaga's like, dude, no, I threw up seafood once. I don't fuck with that. And then Phaeton's like, I don't eat food that other people touched. Just like little stupid shit. Like, they're in this serious situation, and it also kind of reminds me of how we just saw them as children. And that's like, that feels like an excuse like a child would give. Like, nah, I don't touch food that other people have touched. You know what I mean? I know there's probably many adults out there that feel that way, but it just, when I read it, especially after seeing them just as children in the last chapter, it just reminded me of like just something a kid would say. So they're all still children at heart, even though they're vicious murderers. So Hinrai goes in, and it's just an empty room. Everyone's gone, but there is fresh blood. And we have to remember that they did just send 2 people in. So those people probably got killed, but maybe one of them was able to speak and say, hey, yo, the Phantom Troop's just about to enter the room. And then before he gets his throat slit, who knows? But they managed to vacate the room, so they're not in there. Hinrai's in, and he's waiting to see what happens. And then he feels like a presence behind him, turns around, and it's Nobunaga. Nobunaga enters the room right after him. He's like, what the fuck? What? I told you I was going to come in here. He's like, yeah, but here's the thing, is like, I kind of respect you. I'm growing a respect for you, but he doesn't say this, but this is like the emotion behind it. But he's like, but you could have been also trying to betray us. You could have been trying to get us to go to a specific location. Could have been trying to get us to go there yourself. Maybe you are secretly working with the Hylia or something like that. So I figured I would come in here, and if you expected me to follow you with a confidence, you were saying like, I knew you would follow me, I should probably just kill you right away. But if I come in and you're surprised, then, okay, what you said was legitimate. I can believe you. I can trust you to a degree. And that's what happens here. So there's a little bit of, like, respect that is growing with Hinrai from time to time. And I feel like as the troop is starting to respect him more, I think we as the audience, too, I think every chapter with Hinrai, we start to grow a little bit more respect for him. Because at first, he looked like he was just a henchman. But then we saw his ability, which was pretty cool. We saw how he handled himself in intense situations. And then we saw how he handled himself against Hisoka, not in a fight, but in just a talking back and forth, explaining things and recognizing where he stood. Like, his ego didn't take over. He wasn't trying to do anything. He's really doing his job. He's doing his job as efficiently as possible. And I think because of that, we respect him as a character, especially when he's around a bunch of people that are way more powerful than him. Like, Hinrai is a badass on his own, but it's just when you put him with the Phantom Troop or with Hisoka, he recognizes his place on the totem pole, and he understands how he has to build rapport and how he has to build respect and how he has to work within this scenario. And I just really appreciate that about this character, and that he's not so hot-headed or in over his head or trying to betray people. Like, he's really just doing his job. So that's awesome. So he's in there with Nobunaga. Nobunaga tries to figure out, if there's any kind of weird shit going on in this room. He pulls out his sword, tries to chop the wall down, and the wall basically heals itself. It's protected by NEN. And one thing that was really interesting when they showed this is when they showed Nobunaga do that, they showed one quick panel of Morena smiling. And I don't know, look, we know Morena is a specialist with an ability to gift other people, awaken their NEN, awaken their aura so that they can use NEN. But maybe she can do other shit too. And maybe by Nobunaga doing that, I don't know. I don't think there's anything in the chapter to suggest it other than showing her for a panel. But I think she might have sensed that. And I think that she might have been the one to tell everybody to vacate the room. And I'm not saying that in the next chapter Nobunaga is going to go up against Morena. I'm just saying I think Morena knows that they're there. But the chapter does basically end on a cliffhanger. It basically ends on Nobunaga and Hinrai further exploring this room. They saw where all the bathrooms connect, and there's multiple rooms scattered all about the ship that basically brought people here in order to kill them. And that was the whole goal behind it, because if you remember, Morena awakens their Nen. Depending on how many people they kill is how basically they level up, right? So they developed a way to level up quickly by creating this trap room that brings everybody here just to be insta-killed. Now Nobunaga and Hinrai are in that room, and they see how it's connected to all of the different rooms, and there doesn't seem to be anybody here, but there was very recently. So they're around. They know that they're there. And so this, going forward, this is really going to depend on what these characters can do. But if Morena is on her way there, then that would be the only instance where I would see Nobunaga having difficulty if he does. Because he's pretty damn powerful, and we still haven't really seen his Nen ability, so yeah. But this was a good chapter, man. This was a good chapter to kind of build us to, first of all, bring us back into the main storyline and build us up into the next segment. I think you need a chapter like this, because I think the next chapter might have a little bit more intensity to it with what's happening in this murder room. Kind of reminded me of like Saw, like the empty room with the tiles on the ground. But, you know, you have to have that chapter to kind of bring us back to where we were after being in a flashback. So we're back, we're entering forward, and we're continuing with this. The only thing is that we only have 2 more chapters officially announced to come back out. Now, there was something from one of the editors saying that about 30 chapters worth of scripts have been written, and they have been for quite a while, but it's just a matter of drawing them and getting them, you know, all finished and sent to editors and sent to this and that. So we might be getting a hiatus after chapter 400, but there is more content coming. He might be releasing these in batches like he does before. Maybe, it would suck if we only got 10 chapters a year, you know, and just like 1 volume a year, but you know, anything is better than nothing, I suppose, especially with Togashi's condition. So at least 2 more chapters. We got at least 2 more weeks of this, and I think we should just appreciate it for what we can, man, because we might get 2 more weeks, and then we might have a few months or a long time to wait until more, and that's gonna suck. I've really been enjoying getting back into the swing of things of Hunter x Hunter. This has been a really, really fun ride, but you know, we'll see where it goes, man. But we have at least 2 more weeks, so we can ride out the rest of 2022 with some more Hunter x Hunter. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Leave your thoughts, theories, opinions about everything that's happening. Also, guys, if you want to, please like the video and comment, because it does help it in the algorithm. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I was trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't think I'm going to hit it, but if you want to help me get towards that point eventually, whenever it will be, I would appreciate it. Also, if you want to support the channel on the extra level, I have a Patreon and channel memberships as well. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time.